Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 nostalgic video games for those who grew up in the 1990s and 2000s.
Here we go!
Number 10, Crash Bandicoot 2: Cortex Strikes Back.
Make yourself useful, big brother, and bring an extra battery for me.
There are several PlayStation platformers that millennials look back on fondly we could have discussed here. And while Spyro the Dragon was tempting, we went with Crash 2.
I'm going after him.
The first Crash sequel improved on the formula of the original by making it more accessible and with more interesting levels. While we won't pretend that we can complete every level perfectly today, or back in the day for that matter, Crash Bandicoot 2: Cortex Strikes Back still scratches the platforming itch and delivers all the cartoony, box-breaking action we remember growing up.
Only after we have filled all of the slots in this room can we continue on our quest.
Number 9, GoldenEye 007. Sure, this James Bond movie tie-in game proved surprisingly accurate to its film, and it had an excellent, if occasionally obtusely designed, campaign. Seriously, what is up with some of those objectives? But what everyone remembers is the multiplayer. Chances are, if you played any multiplayer games during the late 90s and early 2000s, one of them was GoldenEye 007. A staple activity at parties, GoldenEye was an innovator in the field of local multiplayer FPS games. And we'll never forget the arguments over whether picking Oddjob is cheating, it is, and if camping with mines is a legitimate strategy, it isn't. You're not getting invited back. Number 8, Grand Theft Auto 3. There were other GTA games before this one, the 3 kinda gives that away, but this is where nearly everyone came on board with them. And why wouldn't they? Grand Theft Auto 3 was one of the pioneers of open world games. Back in 2001, there simply wasn't anything like it. The sense of freedom exploring Liberty City and just doing whatever we wanted, no matter what the police or their bullets said, was unmatched at the time. And while open world games have gotten bigger and better looking over time, Grand Theft Auto 3 will still elicit plenty of fond memories of imaginary crimes.
We had to help some guy make up his mind, and it proved a little messy. Take it to the crusher before the cops find it.
Number 7, Mario Kart 64. There are Mario Kart games released all the time, so chances are even if you didn't play Mario Kart 64 as a kid, you at least played one of them. Still, the Nintendo 64 entry saw the series go into the third dimension. Not only are the tracks bigger and better, but now 4 players could participate at the same time in races, as well as in battle mode. And sure, while we still have all the usual gripes playing the game, like rubber banding AI, falling over the edge, and those damn blue shells, we wouldn't trade our time racing these karts for anything. Although, a shield for blue shells would be nice. Number 6, Halo Combat Evolved. If a few of the aforementioned games were this generation's first local multiplayer games, then Halo was one of our first online multiplayer experiences. Well, our first LAN party multiplayer experiences anyway. Not only did Halo streamline and refine the multiplayer FPS experience, it also delivered a gripping sci-fi story that blew our tiny minds. The campaign seamlessly transitioned from one explosive firefight to the next, while also featuring exceptional cutscenes for the time and sweeping orchestral music. If you didn't have trouble sleeping after that scene that introduced the Flood, you're made of sterner stuff than us.
There are too many, sir! Don't even think about it, Marine.
For so many of us, Halo Combat Evolved set the bar for FPS games for our whole lives.
Nice one, sir!
Time for a little payback.
Number 5, Super Smash Bros. Melee. This may not have been the first entry in Nintendo's crossover fighting franchise, but it's the one we played to death as kids. And as adults, we've come to realize how bad we are at it. We'll never pull off a wombo combo. Super Smash Bros. Melee has incredibly tight controls that are easy to pick up and difficult to master. This made it a blast to play with friends, but also fun to tackle solo, particularly with its numerous game modes and expansive roster of nostalgic fighters from Nintendo games. And even if there have been several bigger and arguably better entries that followed it, Melee is a game that many players keep returning to year after year. Number 4, Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII was the first introduction for many gamers to the JRPG genre. The turn-based combat is tried and true, yet it's through its story and world building that FF7 captured our hearts. There's so many scenes that are burned into our brains, but especially that one. you know the one we're talking about. Final Fantasy VII had a major impact on this generation of gamers, with its aesthetics, characters, and music all pervading our collective consciousness for decades and helping inspire the wave of interest in Japan and the West. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Zelda games in general stoke the spirit of adventure in kids of all ages. And for a lot of us, Ocarina of Time was the first spark. Stepping out into Hyrule Field was truly liberating, as it felt like something epic was always around the corner. The story has a brilliant time travel mechanic that ties into how the game plays. The ability to target enemies was a game changer, and Koji Kondo's legendary score has never left our heads since we first heard it. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time has us wishing for the title object for ourselves, just so we could go back and experience this masterpiece for the first time all over again. Number 2, Super Mario 64. There were 3D games before Super Mario 64, but a vast majority of our generation was first exposed to the concepts with this game. No longer is Mario going left or right. Now he and we could go in any direction. The freedom to do whatever we wanted in a level was a revelation in the 90s, and the smooth degree of control we have over Mario's movements in this game makes exploring all these levels incredibly satisfying and fun. All the secrets, new abilities, and areas evoke a sense of wonder even now. We all shout "Wahoo!" along with Mario while playing this nostalgic gem.
Here we go!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Doom. Demons, blood, and gore? We couldn't resist. Metal Gear Solid. What? The graphics looked as good as the cutscenes?
Still don't believe me? Now I'll read more deeply into your soul.
Mortal Kombat. Ninjas, blood, and gore. We couldn't resist. Banjo-Kazooie. The bear and bird fired our imaginations with this inventive 3D platformer.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Pokémania struck the world in the late 90s, and it has barely let up since then. Catching and battling pocket monsters against each other has proven feverishly addictive. The first games in the franchise may have been unbalanced and had simple graphics compared to later games in the series, but we played them for days on end as kids. The simple yet rewarding combat, paired with so many cute and cool Pokémon to find, made this an instant classic. Whether we caught them all or just enjoyed the journey, Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow made our childhoods something special. Is there a game that made your childhood that didn't make our list? We'll listen to your picks in the comments.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.